What if I told you that in Singapore, chewing gum could land you in serious legal trouble? Or that there are places where specific rules about your footwear could get you fined? Welcome to the fascinating world of unusual laws that are still on the books today. Every society has rules to keep things running smoothly. Don't steal, don't speed, pay your taxes. But dig a little deeper into legal codes around the world, and you'll discover some truly head-scratching regulations. These aren't your everyday laws. They're the legal oddities that make you wonder, what exactly happened here to make this necessary? Some of these laws are actively enforced, others are forgotten relics from different times, and a few are complete myths that have taken on lives of their own. Today, we're separating fact from fiction as we explore genuine, unusual laws from around the globe. From Southeast Asia to Europe to North America, let's dive into the weird world of legal peculiarities. Laws that are actually real and enforced. Let's start with laws that aren't just on paper, dime, they're actively enforced today. 1. Singapore's chewing gum ban. Since 1992, Singapore has maintained one of the world's most famous unusual laws. You cannot import or sell chewing gum. This isn't just a quirky rule, it's serious business with real consequences. The ban came after chewing gum was causing problems with the city's subway system, getting stuck in door sensors and disrupting operations. Today, the only gum allowed is therapeutic gum sold by pharmacies with a prescription. Break this law, and you could face fines up to $10,000 Singapore dollars for importing, or up to $2,000 for selling. It's a perfect example of how one society's solution to a practical problem can seem bizarre to outsiders. 2. Italy's noise-controlled tourism. On the Italian island of Capri, there are strict rules about noisy footwear in certain areas. This isn't about fashion police, it's about preserving the peaceful atmosphere that makes the island special. Similarly, in Venice, feeding pigeons in St. Mark's Square can result in substantial fines, as the city works to protect its historic buildings from damage. Debunking popular myths. Now let's talk about some laws that sound real but actually aren't. 3. The Arizona donkey myth. You've probably heard that it's illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub in Arizona. This story has been shared countless times online, complete with a tale about a flood and a floating bathtub. But here's the truth. This law doesn't exist. Multiple fact-checkers and legal experts have confirmed there's no such regulation anywhere in Arizona. It's become one of the internet's most persistent legal myths. 4. Connecticut's pickle law. Similarly, the famous story about Connecticut requiring pickles to bounce isn't quite accurate. There was a real incident in 1948 where 2 men were arrested for selling spoiled pickles, and a food commissioner mentioned that good pickles should bounce when dropped. However, this never became an actual law. The bounce test was just one official's practical advice, not legal requirement. Historical oddities that actually exist. Some unusual laws are real, but they're relics from different times that rarely see enforcement. 5. United Kingdom's parliamentary armour ban. In the UK, it is indeed illegal to enter the Houses of Parliament while wearing armour. This law dates back to medieval times when political disputes could turn quite literally into armed conflicts. While nobody's trying to storm Westminster in chainmail these days, the law technically remains in effect. 5. Switzerland's quiet hours. Many Swiss apartment buildings do have regulations about flushing toilets after 10 p.m., though this varies by building rather than being a national law. These rules are part of Switzerland's broader approach to noise control and community living standards. Food and drink laws that shape culture. Some of the most interesting laws relate to what we eat and drink, and they reveal a lot about national priorities. 7. Germany's 500-year-old beer law. Germany takes its beer so seriously that it has laws dating back to 1516. The Reinheitsgebot, or purity law, originally stated that beer could only contain 3 ingredients: water, barley, and hops. Yeast was added later when people understood fermentation better. This isn't just historical trivia, Many German breweries still follow these rules voluntarily today, even though the European Court of Justice ruled in 1987 that Germany couldn't ban foreign beers that used other ingredients. 8. France's bread revolution. France has equally serious laws about bread. Only bakeries that bake their bread on site can call themselves boulangeries. There's even a law requiring that bread be available every day, except 1 day per week, a rule dating back to 1919. But here's where it gets interesting. French labor laws also banned bakers from working between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., which created a problem. How do you get fresh bread ready for breakfast if you can't start work until 4 a.m.? The solution helped create the modern baguette. Its thin shape bakes faster than round loaves, making fresh morning bread possible within the legal work hours. 9. Japan's homemade alcohol ban. In Japan, you cannot legally make your own alcoholic beverages if they're stronger than 1% alcohol by volume. This includes craft, beer, wine, or spirits. Break this law, and you could face up to 5 years in prison. The rule exists because Japan heavily taxes alcohol, and homemade booze means lost tax revenue. It's one of the strictest homebrew laws in the world. Transportation and public order laws. 10. The Swiss toilet controversy. Remember those Swiss toilet flushing rules? They're real, but they're not national law. Many Swiss apartment buildings include clauses in rental agreements prohibiting loud activities after 10 p.m., including flushing toilets, running washing machines, or even taking showers. It's part of Switzerland's broader, quiet hours culture. Some buildings are strict enough that violating these rules can result in eviction. The Swiss take their peace and quiet very seriously. 11. France's baker work schedule. Here's another French law that shaped an entire culture. Bakers couldn't work between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., starting in 1919. This law was meant to improve working conditions, but it had an unintended consequence. Traditional round bread loaves take hours to bake, but the thin baguette could be proofed and baked quickly enough to be ready for morning customers. Some historians argue this labor law helped make the baguette the symbol of France it is today. Laws that reveal cultural values. 12. Japan's radio equipment rules. In Japan, even bringing the wrong walkie-talkie into the country can get you in trouble. All radio equipment must have a technical conformity mark to prove it meets Japanese standards. This includes baby monitors, cordless phones, and even some Wi-Fi devices. It's not just bureaucracy. Japan is serious about preventing radio interference in a densely populated, tech-heavy society. 13. The UK's medieval mindset. That armour law in Parliament isn't the only medieval rule still on the books in Britain. It's also illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament, though this is more ceremonial than practical. If someone did die there, they'd likely be declared to have died elsewhere to avoid the complications of a state funeral. Modern laws that sound ancient. 14. Digital age regulations. Some laws that sound old are actually quite recent. Germany's beer law has been updated for modern times. Quote, "It now allows different grains for different beer styles, and there are exceptions for export beers." The original 1516 law was much simpler than what exists today. Similarly, Singapore's gum law has evolved. When it was first enacted in 1992, it was a complete ban. Now therapeutic gum is allowed with a prescription, and the penalties have been refined. What started as a practical solution to a public transit problem has become a symbol of Singapore's approach to civic order. The stories behind strange rules. What makes these laws fascinating isn't just their oddness, it's what they tell us about the societies that created them. Every unusual regulation has a story, whether it's addressing a specific historical problem, reflecting cultural values, or trying to maintain public order in unique ways. The German beer law protected consumers from unsafe additives when food safety wasn't well understood. Singapore's gum ban solved a real infrastructure problem. France's bread laws ensure quality and worker rights. Switzerland's noise regulations reflect a cultural value of respecting your neighbors. Some laws emerge from genuine problems that needed creative solutions. Others reflect the values and concerns of their time. And yes, some are just myths that sound plausible enough to spread across the internet for decades. Conclusion. The world of unusual laws reminds us that legal systems are living documents shaped by history, culture, and sometimes very specific local problems. While many of these rules might seem silly today, they often made perfect sense in their original context. Whether it's Singapore's practical approach to urban cleanliness, Italy's efforts to preserve historic sites, or medieval England's concerns about armed politicians, these laws offer glimpses into different ways societies have tried to solve problems and maintain order. What's your take on these unusual laws? Have you encountered any strange regulations while traveling? Do you know of any odd rules from your area that actually make sense when you understand the context? Share them in the comments. Just remember to fact-check first. If you enjoyed this deep dive into legal oddities from around the world, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating stories that separate fact from fiction. Until next time, try not to get arrested for anything too ridiculous